One of the more challenging shots for most golfers is going to be taking something like this. It's a fairway wood and I'm taking it from the fairway and I'm desperately trying to hit it as far as I can down on this par 5 and get it shifted. But what I find difficult about this shot is that it's my second longest club in my bag. So the only club longer than this is my driver, and it's only an inch shorter than my driver. It's also my second least lofted club. Again, the only club with less loft is the driver. This has got 13.5 degrees, so it doesn't have a great deal of loft. Even compared to a driver, it's only just a bit more lofted than that. Then I notice it's got a smaller head than the driver, so it's shallow, it's narrow, it's not as much, it's not as big a hitting area. I then notice when I look down there, I don't even get a T-peg anymore. So all the nice things about a driver, the big head and the T-peg, they've disappeared. But it hasn't really been replaced with a shorter shaft and more loft. So it's a pretty tough shot. It's almost like trying to hit that driver off the deck. And I think a lot of golfers make this situation worse by potentially misunderstanding the ball position and the quality of the lie. Now, if I'm taking something like a 3-wood here, I really need a decent lie. There's a difference between a ball that's sitting on the fairway and a ball that's sitting in the fairway. You know, if I move that ball over there and sit it there, that for me, it's 9 inches from where it was. It's now in a very, very difficult lie. And I actually don't think that the 3-wood would be the right play. If the ball's sitting up a little bit more and it's sitting up on the turf, I can get a 3-wood onto that. So the first thing I'd encourage you to do is consider that you're taking the right club from the right situation. You're then going to choose the right ball position. Now, having the ball position forwards, I'm using this red cane here to help you understand the ball position. Having the ball position forwards up against my left heel, which might have been a good position to take a driver, I think that's too far forwards. I think the club is on the rising part of the arc by the time it gets there, which means I'm probably going to be topping the ball or even hitting the ground before the ball. Likewise, if I move the ball position too far back, more towards the middle of my stance, very much not how I would have it for a driver. By having the ball too far back in my stance, I'm going to feel like I'm hitting down on the golf ball too much. That's going to hit the ball very, very low if I get a good contact on it at all. So again, like the Goldilocks principle, we've got too far back, we've got too far forward, and then we've got just right. And I'm going to suggest it's 2 balls widths from your left instep. So as a right-handed golfer, I take 2 golf ball widths there and I position the ball just there. It feels like it's underneath my left chest. Then I have the shaft nice and level, and then I swing down and try and nip the ball off the surface. I'm not necessarily trying to lean back and sweep up on the ball too much, but likewise I'm not leaning into it and chomping down and trying to take a big chunky divot. The club should be bruising the turf on the way through, but I'm not hitting down and digging a big divot. The last thing I'd encourage you to do with these shots is go and experiment. Go and try the ball a bit forwards and a bit back and see how it alters the flight. Go and have the ball on a good lie and a bad lie and see how that alters the flight. Take your 3-wood, take your 5-wood, take your 7-wood and see how that alters the flight as well. But as a starting point, we want a nice lie. We want the ball 2 balls widths away from that left instep, and that should give us the best starting point to be able to sweep that 3-wood off a nice tight fairway.